Here are 10 huge Mac games that you might have forgotten about, or basically I just made this video because I want to talk about these games again. Number 10, we have Mafia 3 Definitive Edition.
Don't step too close.
Mafia 3 may not be the best game in the Mafia series, but it's the only one we can play on Mac natively today. For the longest time, the game was actually unplayable on M series Macs, but in macOS Sequoia, Apple finally added support for AVX instructions in Rosetta 2. So the game is now playable on modern Macs. I imagine many of you are yet to try it because it wasn't working in the past. Just note, I'm referring to the Steam version of Mafia 3, the Definitive Edition. Aspire have not updated the App Store version to the new Definitive Edition. The App Store version still does not work on M series Macs. Despite being released in 2016, Mafia 3 remains a pretty demanding PC game. I do still recommend checking it out, even though the performance is kind of mixed. I think it's a fun open world game, and also the 60s music in this game is really good. Number 9 is Call of Duty Black Ops 3. People are often surprised to hear that a COD game is on Mac, and it's Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 was brought to Mac back in 2019 from Aspire, and was one of the first Mac games to support Metal 2. The Mac version of the game is very outdated. It's running version like 1.0.0. I doubt Aspire will ever update the game for Mac or add crossplay with Windows PC. And currently you can't connect online, so all you can basically do is play zombies offline or play the campaign. There is, however, a patch or a fix on GitHub that allows you to play online and also go up against Windows players. I have linked this in the description. It is a really cool tool that someone has created. It is unfortunate that Aspire cannot add this themselves, but then again, this game is very old and the online player base for it is pretty small these days, but the zombies mode for this game is fantastic and the campaign is pretty good. Number 8, we have The Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings. Originally released on Mac in 2012, The Witcher 2 was one of the best action-adventure games to play on Mac in the 2010s. Seeing a massive game like this from a massive developer like CD Projekt Red was actually more common back in the day. The game was delisted for years, and I imagine some of you didn't even know it was back on sale for Mac, even in 2025. However, back in 2023, CD Projekt Red updated the game for M series Macs. It's a bit confusing, this port. It's now a 64-bit application and still uses OpenGL and Eon instead of Wine. Eon is a proprietary library that converts Win API into macOS API, but used during source compilation instead of runtime. So the game's performance on new Macs is not great, and there are occasionally some graphical artifacts. But if you're interested, it's still a really cool game, and I think it's still worth checking out. The first game also saw the same treatment too. Number 7 is SOMA. There are many popular horror games on Mac these days, from the modern Ari titles, the Layers of Fear remake, the Medium, Devour, and then we've got some older ones like Alien Isolation and Outlast, but many forget one of the best, SOMA.
Are you human?
Shit, did my body give it away? I try hard to save a mystery. Yeah, I'm human. Are you?
SOMA is probably fictional game's best game. And also, it's just one of the best horror games ever made. And it has one of the best stories ever produced in the video game. I know that's a big statement and it's extreme, but I'm sticking with it. The story in here is just, I'm amazing. Anyway, I've played this game so many times. And I'm really into dark stories like this and learning about the lore here. Number 6, we have Firewatch. While this video is mostly focusing on AAA games, I thought Firewatch needed to be on this list. In my opinion, it's one of the best indie games ever created. Obviously, it's a critically acclaimed game, it's not that underrated, but I don't actually think it gets much recognition on Mac. Like, I don't see people talking about it too much, so that's why it's on this list as well. The one downside to the Mac version is that it runs on OpenGL, so its performance on modern Macs is not great. That being said, the game's visuals and the storytelling make up for the poor performance. You can just get by, really. I don't really care if it's like running at 30 frames at 1080p, because I just kind of forget about it because of the story and the visuals are very well done here.
We've issued you a comfy chair to sit in and everything.
You know, it's not really that comfy. I mean, it's wooden and there's no padding. I think I actually got a splinter in my thigh this morning.
Aww.
Number 5 is Dying Light. I remember back in 2016 when Techland announced that Dying Light was coming to Mac. I couldn't believe it. To this day, I still often forget that it's on Mac, which is silly as it's one of the best zombie survival games ever created. The game used to require a powerful Intel Mac with an AMD graphics card. Now it's really playable on base M series Macs, seeing 60 FPS at 1080p. The game does have some issues, like loading into the game. It can sometimes freeze. It's really annoying. There isn't really a proper fix, you just kind of have to keep retrying until it actually loads in. One thing I maybe did find helped was playing the game at like 120 hertz or above 60 hertz for some reason. It sometimes fixed it, but that just might be a fluke. Over the years, so much content like DLC has been added to the game, and it's also come across to Mac, which I do really appreciate. This game has expanded so much. One feature that people often forget too is that it has full crossplay between Mac and Windows.
Where's the big guy?
There he is.
Alright, watch and learn, Mr. MacRate.
Number 4, we have Mad Max. Back in 2016, Feral Interactive ported Mad Max to Mac, and I was like, what? That's awesome. But a few years ago, they lost the license to it, so it has been removed from sale on storefronts. But on Steam, you can still download it and play the game. Like if you don't own it, you can just buy it and download it. Even though it says Windows only, you can still download it. The Mac version is still there. Anyway, Mad Max is a pretty underrated game on PC and console, and it's even more underrated on Mac, especially since it went unlisted on storefronts. The gameplay loop can be a little repetitive, and the animations are sometimes like a bit clunky, but the visuals are beautiful. The fighting is really fun. It's simple, but it's fun. And obviously the game is totally open world, and it's just, you got so much to do here. It is powered by OpenGL, so don't expect amazing performance on modern Macs, but it's definitely worth checking out. Number 3 is Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. Feral's AAA ports are showing up a lot in this video. In 2014, they brought Mac gamers Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. They lost the license to it a while ago, or they didn't renew it or whatever, but you can still download and play the game on Steam. You can buy it, you can download it, you can play it, blah blah blah. We rarely see games like this on Mac, even in 2025, and if you're a fan of hack and slash adventure, this one should be in your library already, or if you haven't, it should be in it now. Also, if you're a fan of the Middle-earth world and so forth, it's worth checking out. The story behind the origin of the Ring of Power is truly compelling, and the gorgeous landscapes, brutal melee and stealth combat, and groundbreaking nemesis system do make for an excellent time. Number 2, we have Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition. Sleeping Dogs is a mix between Yakuza and GTA series, taking the best out of both of those franchises. It takes place in Hong Kong, which is a really cool setting. You can enter illegal street races, gamble on cockfights, or kick back with some karaoke. My favorite part of the game is the brutal hand-to-hand combat, where you can use an unmatched martial arts system. The story here is pretty solid as well. You play the role of Wei Shen, who is an undercover cop trying to take down the triads from the inside out. So then you'll have to prove yourself worthy as you fight your way up the organization, taking part in brutal criminal activities without blowing your cover. As with many of the games on this list, because it's old, it runs with OpenGL and it does not run well on modern Macs, but I still think it's worth checking out. Number 1, we have Batman Arkham City. In 2012, Feral also brought us Batman Arkham City. This game is still to this day one of my favorite Mac games to play. It holds a really, really special place for me, as it was featured in my first ever YouTube video covering Mac gaming in 2013. I've been doing this job for so long. Anyway, I've left a link to the video in the description if you're interested. It's a terrible video. It's so bad I used a robot voice, but it's really funny. Anyway, a few years ago, Feral lost the license to the game, or they didn't renew it or whatever, so it's not on sale anymore. But again, you can buy the game on Steam, or if you already own it, you can download it and you can just play it on your Mac. Also, the game was updated from OpenGL to Metal a few years ago, so it flies on M series Macs. It plays super well. You can play at really high resolutions and max graphics with no problems. But this shouldn't be a shock, as this game was originally released on PS3 and Xbox 360. I would love for Feral to port this game to mobile. I think it would really work well there. Seeing the history of porting older games, it would just be really cool to see this from them. So, what do you think of these older AAA games for Mac? Are you interested in any of them? Are there any that you didn't know were on Mac and you might be considering getting it now? This whole video is basically just an excuse for me to talk about some of these games again, because it's been quite a while and I love all these games, man. They're lovely. Anyway, my name's Stewie and thanks for watching.